All right, we are back. Another episode of the Let's Go podcast, and it is a power rankings episode. HSL basketball. We just recapped our first week of HSL fall ball basketball 2025. What a week it was! 3 games on Sunday, an insane 5 game marathon, to say the least. Marathon last night. Got in the gym at 7, got out of there at midnight. It was crazy. Thank you, everybody, for being an amazing sport about it. I know especially the guys starting later, having to come and wait around for 15, 20 minutes before your game starts, sometimes even longer. We appreciate it. We try not to ever have that happen again. We try to stick to 4 games a night max, but we appreciate you. So let's get right into it. Let's recap the games as we go through the power rankings. Let me pull up the stats right here so I have everything in front of me. Thank you, Ezra Kolsky, for getting the stats, and we'll release to everybody shortly as well. Let's start with Tier 2. Tier 2, 5 in the power rankings. Remaining 5 is Advanced Power and Controls. Of course, that is captained by our very own David Gottlieb. They kept it close for the first 6 minutes. David Gottlieb hit a big shot, went viral. Craig Stroh also hit a big shot, went viral. But other than that, they really didn't do much. They got totally clobbered by one of our new teams, exciting teams to be in the league, Mava Capital. We'll get into them in a second. But for that reason, they come in at number 5. They also looked extremely gassed. Only, I think, 6 guys, maybe 7, but they needed to come out of the game every 3 minutes. And unless they were missing their 2 best players. So we'll see if that'll help at the depth. But for now, they're coming at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Crown Care. Now, Crown Care put up a really tough fight. Of course, that's Jeremy Tabak and Blisco and Prager and Pollock and Freed and the rest of the Chavra. Really good team. Awesome team, fun team. Toe-to-toe. They went completely toe-to-toe with Clutch Auto Trade and, of course, the controversial 70-foot buzzer beater to end the game by Goldfarb. Whether it was a timeout called or not, very hard to hear in those moments, but they played a really tough game. They lost a really tough fight, but they're going to be in at number 4. I think the remaining number 4 from last week. Looking through the stat sheet for Crown Care, nobody really stood out. Sean Prager had a good game, 17 points, 10 boards, probably the player of the game for them. Tough loss, they're number 4. Coming in at number 3, we got Clutch Auto Trade, that same team. They actually played 2 games this past week. One, of course, the Goldfarb game-winning 3-quarter shot, and the other one they lost a nail-biter last night to Barbacoa. Very close game. We look into our stat sheet as per usual. Goldfarb has been really ripping it up in every category. They've been playing 2 games so far, and looking at the stat sheet, we see Goldfarb's got averaging 8 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, and 2 steals. He's almost averaging a triple-double. It's absolutely insane. I don't have the game-by-game stats in front of me since they played 2 games. We have that separately, but the average so far has been pretty crazy. So Goldfarb's been tearing it up for them. They are in the 3 seed. Coming in the 2 seed is Barbacoa. Barbacoa, I think this is the exact power rankings I had them in going into week 2, so nothing really changing. Barbacoa, of course, Ibrahimi playing both Tier 1 and Tier 2. Remember, you have to be approved by the league in order for a Tier 1 player to play in Tier 2, and they were approved. They have a very good team. They're a great shooting team. If you don't let them shoot, they're going to have trouble. They have no size. So I'm interested to see how they'll line up against the 1 seed, which we'll get into in a second, at least the 1-ranked team. Barbacoa won, again, a nail-biter last night versus Clutch Auto Trade. If we look through their stat sheet for Barbacoa, who stood out, let's see. We had 12 points and 9 rebounds for the captain, Bakalakalakana, and then Ibrahimi, 31 points. The guy shot the ball a million times, but that's how they're going to win. If Ibrahimi scores, if he hits threes, they're going to win. So Daniel Ibrahimi leading the way with 31 points, 11 boards, and 5 assists. Very, very nice outing, and in very large contention for Player of the Week for Mr. Ibrahimi. So that's your Tier 2 power. And then, Tier 1, of course, you got Mava Capital, the team to beat going in. They utterly destroyed, as I mentioned earlier. I don't think it was much of a test for them. They're a very big team. I'd like to see how they match up against other teams that are much more athletic than they are. I don't think they're the most athletic team. They have one kid who's a freak athlete. Other than that, they're really just big and strong, and you know what they're doing. So I'm interested to see how they match up. Mava Capital, I think, all across the board, very, very good games for everybody on that team. Somebody that stands out, 24-20 for Yuri. Really impressive, the captain. And then 24-10 for... 24-10 for David Tahalov. 17, 11, and 7 for Arthur. It's very hard to choose player of the game from that game because it was such a blowout that after the first half, it was just really, doing what you want to do. There's really no competition. So it's difficult to give someone a player of the week from a blowout 40-point win. So that's your tier 2 power rankings. Now let's get into tier 1. Tier 1, coming in at number 10, we got Boris M. Tax playing Event Wealth, Mr. Kraft. They brought a good team this year. They're a lot better than last year, but again, tier 1 competition went up. They faced another tier 1 team that is also brand new to the league, and they lost a very close game, P for P. Sticking to Boris M. / Invent Wealth for a second, like I said, they brought a much better team this year. It was a very close game, wire to wire. They lost 53-44. Really, it was much closer than a 9-point game. But they played well. They hung in there, led by Ben Abizada, 14 points, 10 rebounds. The captain, Kraft, only 3 points. Usually scores a lot more, unlike him. Pretty much even scoring across 3 different players of their team. But they did lose to right now what is considered one of the weaker teams in Tier 1, which is why they fall to the 10th seed. Coming in at 9 is the team that beat them, P for P and Zen. Again, they looked good. I can't tell how good they are until they face one of our better teams. Again, they won by 9 points. Anybody that stands out for P, as we're looking here, by P4P Recruitment Healthcare Company. Look into that. They are amazing. 17 points for Ohio. And everyone else, 10, 11, 6, 4. Nothing, no crazy stat line across the board there, but they get the win, and they're 9th in the power rankings. Coming in at 8, we got FM Home Loans and my boy Devere, my little JSL team there. So they came in, faced Rides to Fly. They kept it close the first half. Rides to Fly is the new Link Home Care. They were missing Wasser and PC Jacoby. And they do what they always do. They sleepwalk through the first half, and they woke up and just really pummeled FM Home Loans in the second half. We love FM Home Loans. We love that they're sponsoring with us. We appreciate them. But, until I see some more depth out of them and some more ability to compete with the higher dogs, they'll remain at 8. Coming in at 7 at Cobra Rentals. Now, Cobra Rentals, captained by Ezra Kolsky, kept the game way closer than I thought they would to the Bly Vipers. Yes, they were missing a couple of guys. Of course, they're missing their captain, Noah Aaron, Jack Ross. But they also brought in a complete stud who plays in the SY League in Brooklyn. So I think that was a very fair off trade. If anything, they were better off with him. And they kept it close. Ezra went on a streak where he had 3 balls in 25 seconds. I happened to not be there in the court in the gym at that moment, but they kept it extremely tight. And only at the very, very end did Vly pull away from Cobra. Very impressive, which is why Cobra moves up to 7 in the power rankings. Looking at Cobra's stat sheet, Kolsky with 14 and 10, Yormark with 14 and 11, Z Cohen 19 and 9. So some real good stats across multiple stat lines right there. Coming in at number 6, we got Alt Bank. Alt Bank had a 15-plus point lead in their game until the infamous / famous Svi Winter showed up at halftime and totally took over and eventually won the game for Ellie Dax, Music, Plumbers Haven, in overtime. But they did have a great first half. They were missing their big men alone, so give them a bit of slack for that. But they did put up a really, like I said, a really dominant. They really controlled the game, not only in the first half, also like 5 minutes to the second half before they really fell apart and ended up losing. Looking through their stat sheet quickly, and this might be one of the only weeks I could do this because I have access to, it's only one game, I have access to all of them without having to fly through papers, which might take a million years on the podcast. Looking through Alt Bank, looks like we had 15 points for AB Low, 11 for Pollen, 8 for Shillian, 8 for Levine. Really, again, even scoring across the board. Coming in at number 5, we got those Fly Vipers. They dropped back a couple of seeds. Again, I know they're missing a couple of their bigs, but they had a man there who was dominant and didn't see them meshing as much as I would like to. Again, still a very good team, a very dangerous team, a team that could win the championship, a team that knocked off Wasser in the semis last year, tipsy or not. But they didn't look too great. They played against a team that I consider to be one of the weaker teams in Tier 1, especially, and they're also missing that team, one of their better guys, if not probably their second best player overall on their team. And this didn't show me too much. Going through the roster quickly, that man, Sharif, who I was talking about, Sharifi or Sharif, I'm not sure, 27 and 11. 12 points, 7 rebounds for Moshe Khalili. I like to call him the Jewish Zion Williamson. So they put up a good they put up a dub, and that's all that matters. It didn't come in as dominant form as I would like, which is why they're in the 5 seed. Coming into the 4 seed, one of our newer, most hyped teams, Silver Key Realty. They were right there with Olin Realty. They were battling it out. It was a dogfight. The floors got slippery. The AC went on. The floors became non-slippery. So I don't take too much stock in their loss to Olin Realty. Ben Roberts will be like, we had the measly. They didn't have the measly. It was a tight battle. It was a great fight, and Olin pulled away late. Olin, obviously, our former champs. They're a great team. The reason why they dropped to 4 is as follows. I saw things out of the team I'm about to say. If they have, they told me last night they're getting these guys eligible, so we'll get there in a second. That's the only reason they dropped, not because of how they didn't play poorly. They actually really impressed me on the court. Another team just impressed me a lot more. So they're coming in at number 4. If we're going through Silver Key's stat line, any player that really stood out. Really, one thing that makes their team special is they're just so even across the board. 16-4-4 performance, 12-3-2 performance, 11-4 performance, a 13-3-5 performance. There's a really even team throughout. Coming in at number 3, we got Ellie Dax Music / Plumbers Haven. Now, they're down big against Olympe going into halftime, and then the man shows up. Tzvi Winter is his name. The guy's a stud. He might be the best player in the league. He might be, for sure, a top 3 player. Took him a couple shots to get into it. Once he did, the guy didn't miss. He controlled the game. He dominated the game. He got the game into overtime, and he won the game for them. He finished with like 17 points, but again, he showed up at halftime. So 70 points throughout the second half and overtime. Really just controlled the game, more importantly than the amount of points he scored. We'll look through the rest of their roster. Shimmy David, fantastic player, had an off game. 7 points, 13 rebounds, but a very bad shooting night for him. Zevi Green had 14 points. T. Ross started off hot, ended up with only 7 points. If they get Winter on their team every game, that guy's a wasser. He's a game changer. Might be better than Wasser. He makes the whole team different. If you have Shimmy David not having to control the ball, just straight up as a shooter, you're a really dangerous team, and I believe they're more dangerous to Silver Key when the regulars are there. I'm already hearing this Sunday, David and Winter will be out, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dax loses this Sunday. But again, I have to go based on what I saw with their full team there. I saw really, really, really a lot of talent, and they're going to move all the way to the 3. Coming in at the 2, another, like I said earlier, Rides to Fly, minus Wasser, minus Jacoby, sleepwalking through the first half, and basically waking up and dominating. Ari Allswing, a game for the ages, absolute monster. And he doesn't get this, too many opportunities to score, because typically when you have Wasser and Pacey Jacoby on your team, you're not going to score much. Wasser plays a lot of defense, a lot of pick and rolls, a lot of blocking, a lot of standing down there in the paint and interrupting those layups. But Allswing got a chance to show up, and he did. Allswing showed up big time for Rides to Fly, really carrying their team to a blowout victory, ultimately 61-43. Allswing got 19 points, 21 boards, 5 assists, a couple of blocks. Definitely player of the week material right there. We'll see if he gets it. Fantastic performance for Ari Allswing, and Rides to Fly, who are the number 2 seed. And coming number 1, got to give it to them, the defending champs, defending their title with an opening night victory against a very impressive Silver Key Realty. Olin Realty, 1-0, remaining number 1 in the power rankings, going through their stat line like usual, very even. We got 15-8 from Ella, 20-10 from George, 15-8 from 15-8 from Big G. A lot of Lior had 9-8, so a lot of even stat lines throughout that team. That's it. That's it for your week 1 power rankings. We'll come out with week 2, obviously, next week. Stay tuned for player of the week. Stay tuned for your highlight reel of week 1. A lot of fun stuff coming at HSL basketball. I hope you enjoyed these power rankings. Let's hear your feedback. Let's hear your thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? What am I wrong on? I'm excited to see. And again, it should be an amazing season. Standings will be out shortly. Stats will be out shortly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's go, and we will see you Sunday night for week 2. Remember, it's Sunday and Sunday this week. No Thursday games. Sunday is coming Sunday, and the following Sunday are your week 2 games. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.